Yes,
Yes, Dr. Pragya, please introduce.
so good morning, all of you. Back to our 21 days training program. This is the, I think, last day means might be on tomorrow is the last day, but the main presentation today we are going to finish by afternoon itself. So today we have Dr. Ravikant Nirala. He is working as assistant professor in LPM department, Bihar Veterinary College, Patna. He is a graduate and postgraduate from Bihar Veterinary College, Patna, and he did his doctorate from Indian Veterinary Research Institute, Izzat Nagar. He has guided 15 master's students and one PhD student as major advisor, and he remained associated with two projects and published more than 20 research article papers, one book, and many article and book chapter and technical manuals. He has awarded with Best Teacher Award, Distinguished Scientist Award, Young Professional Award, fourth Best Presentation Award, and did many extension activities and training programs. So we welcome Dr. Nirala from our organizing team to present his insight on good management practices for profitable livestock farming. Over to you, sir.
Hello. Good morning, madam. Hello.
Yes, sir, continue. You are audible as well
Uh,
as your presentation is okay.
Very good morning, Dr. Pragya, and all the teams associated with this presentation and facilitating us. So, presently, I am going to present on good management practices for profitable livestock farming. As you know, that livestock is the important sectors of our total gross domestic product, and it contributes about 5.6% of its all GDP, although the agriculture and allied sector contribute 14% of the total GDP. So contribution of livestock is very important. So healthy livestock produce healthy products either in the form of milk, meat, hide, skins, feathers, eggs, and different types of products of the livestock. So these all depends on the managemental practices. Managemental practices, that means how better environmental conditions, how better nutrition, how the housing and different aspects of the livestock related entities are provided by us. It will produce healthy products and also efficient products in the form of economy. That means if we are managing in a better way, it will produce better products and it will enhance the economic earning of the people associated with the livestock. Mainly in our country, 60% of our people are associated with the livestock farming, and they are in very deficient economic conditions, and many of the people remain empty belly because of the low out and low purchasing power and low products income from the livestock. So ultimately our goal is to produce more products, enhance their economic income, and ultimately purchasing power of the people associated with the livestock farming. It could be effective and it will be feasible if we give more technology, more know-how, and more capital incentives to the livestock rearers. So for this, there is need of the good management practices that will ultimately enhance the productivity of the every unit of the farming products. So ultimately, we priorly start with the calf. As you know, that calf is the future cow, and mainly in our country, it is cultivated for the milk. In other countries, particularly the temperate world and the Western countries, cow is cultivated for the meat and milk is the secondary products. But in our country, milk is the primary product, and we export hide and different products of the animal. So primarily, if calf will be healthy, calf will be good, calf would be of the uh, high quality of dam product, that means good breed, then it will ultimately yield more and more. As you know that in our country, the production per animals per cow was very less, 2.5 kg, and right now the crossbreeding programs by the different breeds it has enhanced, and now we are edging towards 6 kg or 7 kg. There is variations in the production of the milk per animals or per cow, but day by day we are enhancing. In the western countries, the highest products is taken 88 kg per day per cow. In Israel, its records are there. So we are enhancing the milk production and amplifying the total food basket of the in our intake of the milk and the animal products. So if calf will be healthy, the cow will be healthy. If the calf is of efficient animals, then the products and the milk will be of the efficient. So calf is the future of the animals and future of the animal husbandry practices, enhancement of the productivity. So we have to give more emphasis on the calf. You know that 10 years or 15 years, and right now also, about 40% calves. In case of buffaloes, 40 to 50% mortality are there. And right now, there is no use of the particularly male animals. So we kill the animals or we avoid the care of the animals of the male. So ultimately, there is disastrous circumstances and situations of these calf. So cultivation of the calf and giving more focus on the calf and caring of the calf will increase the milk yield. So female calves have also much more mortality. So we have to decline the mortality after giving care and management. So after birth, we what the attention should be given. So we are start from calf. So there is various aspects for the scientific dairy farming, that means reduce the mortality, enhance the productivity, enhance the health standards, and ultimately the AFC, age at first calving. In our present scenario of the indigenous cattle, age at first calving is 42 months, about 3.5 years. But right now we can take in 2 years or 2.5 years. So it is of the decline in age at first calving. That means a calf is early taken. So ultimately it will lead to the cost of the rearing. So there is different aspects of the scientific dairy farming: optimum animal health, selecting, purchasing a good calf, adequate colostrum intake. Colostrum is really the boon of the animals, and we have to focus on the colostrum because it provides the passive immunity and ultimately enhance the health standards of the animals. A stress reduce transport and habituation, correct pen size and air space, that means housing husbandry, adequate ventilation, feeding schedules, water intake. There are different uh, aspects of the 10 principles of the good calf rearing are there. The objective is optimizing growth, minimizing health problems, and promote early rumen development so that it can take the fodder and forage and different roughage products. So optimum growth rate, that means double birth weight from 24 hours to 60 days. If 1 kg about average daily gain is there, and it takes about 4 months every day gain, then it is good for the calf and it will have the good potential for the yielding in a cow as a milk. So what would be the care and management of the newborn calf after giving the birth or calving? What the attention would be taken? So at first, cleaning the mucus, sticking with nose, eyes, and mouth with clean hand and fingers, inserting some straw or twig in the nostril to initiate respiration if there are problems in the respirations, and uh, picking the calf with rear legs and keeping it hanging with head downwards from sometimes. So there are different aspects. We cut the navel cord 5 centimeter and knot it with and the cutting it with the sharp blade. With we washing the animals with lukewarm matter and with clean towel. These are the different aspects, all in the previous classes, and you have gone through this. So these are the different aspects of the animals caring after birth. These are the problems, novel ill is problems associated with the animals if we have no given attention and care to the navels after cutting from the edge. So these are the problems. So after scientific managemental practice, that means caring these betadine solutions is and iodine and different types of antiseptic solutions may be rubbed on the navel cord after cutting. So it will reduce the problems of the navel end. Navel dipping, as you know that how the antiseptic will be applied. These are the right methods and wrong methods. You can see the navel. The second important things are colostrum feeding. Colostrum is very important, as you know that has 22% protein are there, and mostly the gamma globulin that protect the animals lifelong by through infections by different bacterial or different pathogens. So as early as we can provide the colostrum, that would be highly beneficial to the animals, particularly the calf, because we are giving focus to the calf. So colostrum is really amrit or have several types of nutrient products that protect the animals, and it is the kavach of the animals. So as early as we give colostrum to the animals, that will benefit them either in the ejection of the meconium or the absorption as antibody as it is through the blood. As the intestine remains porous and the porosity of the intestine gives opportunity to absorb fully in the form of the antibodies. So within half an hour, we have to give the colostrum 5 to 8% of their body weight and 7.5%, and within 12 hours 5%, and second day to third day 10% of its body weight. About mostly in our country crossbreed 25 kg to 30 kg animals are there. So if the 25 kg of the calf are there, then 2.5 kg colostrum may be provided. And if colostrum are not available and the dam or the mother of the calf is uh, not survived, then artificial colostrum may be prepared by 1 eggs and 280 ml of lukewarm water and mixed with cod liver oil and the castor oil. And it may be provided in the form of colostrum, artificial colostrum, and the foster mother colostrum, that means the colostrum of the other animals or other cow may be provided. So these are the colostrum that is alternatively we can provide if the animals are not survived and the dam is not able to provide the milk. This is the meconium. Meconium, if it remains in the womb, then this is chances of the infection. So if the animals, if the calf has been born or calved, then we have to clean it with the uh, lukewarm water and antiseptic solution maybe to keep it healthy. These are the milk feeding methods. This is the mouth, and we are supplying the milk through bottles and directly goes and enter to the abomasum. As you know that rumen develops later stage. This is the feeding methods of the milk. This is the wrong methods. This is right methods because it is against the gravitational forces, and this is the under the gravitation. So it downward flow of the milk through the udder. Teat is sucking by the calf. So this is the right methods and this is the wrong methods. So these typical phenomenon and minor objectives we can fulfill by keeping care by this feeding schedule and feeding methods. So this is the milk feeding methods, how the animals are feeded. We keep the bottle or keep the bowel above the gravitation above the mouth, above the head, then it ultimately goes to the intestine through esophagus. These are the milk replacer. It may be replaced by the other important products. These are the different equipments associated with the feeding of the calf. Different nozzles are there. In one bucket, we can provide the milk more than one calves at once. एक साथ कई गो animals को हम लोग provide कर सकते हैं. These are different instruments of the milk supplements. Milk replacer contain a minimum 20 to 22% crude protein. Most of the animals, if it is growing, then in all the case of the poultry, 20 to 22% crude protein is supplied and 10 to 22% of the crude fat. Feed the milk replacer after at least 3 weeks of the life because young calves cannot digest non-milk proteins, and later on diluted with clean water to the extent of 1:8. Use acidified milk replacer to prevent current occurrence of diarrhea. So different types of infection and infestation can be taken away by providing the clean milk. Types of milk feeding programs, milk advantages, calf and weaning. Weaning is more stressful to the animals. So if there is enough milk availability, then we have to keep the animals there. But in the scientific farming plan where there is 100 and 1,000 animals, so it is very difficult to manage with the animals. So we keep the calves in a separate pen after weaning the animals. The types of milk feeding programs, the growth rate, enhanced, accelerated, these are the different growth rate. Development of a stomach compartments, how it is developed in first week and second week, and the 3 to 4 months, how rumen is developed. Rumen takes more than 1 month to develop, and after maturity, this is the scenario where most of the part is taken by the rumen. A rumen is the ultimate machine of the digestion of the rapaces. So we have some the true stomach, and then after maturity, these are the stage-wise development. Now the calf starter, how it is formulated to promote human development. So through volatile fatty acids produced by the bacteria, papillary projections, finger-like growth. This is the calf starter, high quality protein and low fiber. We can start with this. As you know that thumb rule, we provide 60 to 70% energy in the form of carbohydrate, either availability in the different regions in the form of maize or wheat bran. And for the protein, we supply groundnut cake, mustard cake, and different types of oilseed products available in the particular area. So normally we use maize and wheat bran as the source of energy products or the carbohydrate, and it varies 60 to 70%. About 30% are protein. In calf, we provide more protein in the earlier stage because they need of the more protein for the growth of the body, building block, and about 3% mineral mixture among with common salts. So these are the compositions, and it varies 5 to 10% in the different stages of the development from calf to adult animals. Water is the most important products and most important ingredients of the life. So calf raising programs, they're important of the water. In lactating stage, we have to provide more water because milk is produced and there's need of the more water for the milk formation and milk production. And water is also essential to rumen development, important grain fermentation, better calf starter intake. So water should be freely available to the calf from fourth day of the earliest stage of the upbringing. It may be provided from nozzle and in the form of water tank. Forages, these are provided if the rumen is developed after 1 month. So reticular rumen is non-functioning calves. As you know that in the earliest stages, there is no development of the rumen. It develops after a months. So non-ruminant, and they are not equipped to utilize the cellulose, as cellulose is digested by the ruminal bacteria. So bacteria, rumen is not available, so bacteria is not available, then there is no need of the forage, fodder, and delicate tweaks during the first week. After third or fourth week, we provide and start with the tweaks. So feed a high quality textile calf starter, feed forage along with complete pelleted calf starter. The calves are not generally allowed to graze from the pasture and fed silage, as you know that it develops in 3 months and starts developing by a month. 400 to 500 gram of forages per day for the first week after weaning. We have to provide. We start in a month. So weaning is a commercial phenomenon. Normally in domestic livestock farming, we usually not follow the weaning because there is small holdings or small numbers of animals, so we may manage them. And there is emotional and attachment with the animals, so we give care. But from the commercial point of view, we have to take more and more yield, more and more production, and less management abilities and less use of the human manpower. So we have to use the weaning. Gradual weaning reduces the stress to the weaning. We have not to wean the animals as it is. We have to take it in a gradual scenario, in a gradual way. 1 day gap, alternate day. So gradual weaning reduces the stress of the weaning in the animals and can avoid temporary setbacks in growth performance when compared with the abrupt weaning. So on an average, weaning should be done at 8 weeks. That means we have to wean the animals after 2 months. So calves will double their body weight by 8 weeks following birth under the optimum feeding and management condition, as the growth rate has been highlighted in the previous slides. Thereafter, disbudding. Disbudding is very important phenomenon because there is no need of the horn. As in wild cases, horn is the important instrument to protect the life of the animals, particularly the cows we are discussing here. So here there is more need of the calcium and different products for the growth of the horn. So it will be protected. And the second, the butting from the animals to the owners will be not taken place. So dehorning and disbudding is important to us because there is no need of the horn. Different types of dehornings are there: surgical, chemical, and thermal. So have earlier studied these topics of disbudding. And calf housing. Housing of the calf is also important phenomenon. If there is more comfortable high house, there is warmth of the bed, there is less growth of the different pathogens. Draft-free housing that protect from harsh sun in summer and cold waves in the winter. There is need of the cleanliness of the bed materials where we keep the animals. So it may be individual or group housing. Individual housing, there is need of the more workforce, more labor force, and in group housing, there is less workforce and less wastage of the feed. So feeding, individual feeding, in individual housing, there is need of the individual feeding, avoid competition, and group housing, social facilitation of feeding behavior and social interactions. Increase competition, so more and more feed can be taken. Vocalization, more vocalization during weaning, less because there is partner and different various and multiple animals are there. Disease, less horizontal transfer, more transfer because more animals are there. Suckling, non-nutritive suckling, more prominent And cross suckling and oral suckling, that means one calf can suckle the other animals also, other cows or the mother. Labor intensive, labor saving. Unnobility, barren environment may result calves become more fearful to novel environment. And here they adjust better to novel and stressful conditions such as winning and mixing. So these are the group and individual. So these are the individual housing. Animals are housed in individual pen. Pair housing, the two animals are kept here and the different noses of the and mangers are kept with the animals, grazed animals. Here is the group housing. In a group, more than one calves are kept and they have provided the bed materials and the fencing. Bed materials are like that they may provide comfort and less discomfort to the hooves, reduce chances of contracting diseases and uh, transmissible diseases. Calves spend 80% of time in laying down, therefore depth of the bedding is also important. That will provide comfort to the animals. In winter, we provide straw bedding, calf jackets to protect from the cold waves. And during hot weather, bedding with sand can help to keep calves cool, and we have to keep animal moist. These are the calf jackets winter season to protect from the cold waves. And nesting, here is the nesting materials to keep the calves during summer. Deworming is also essential for the animals, for the calves, because calves swallow leaks and different types of materials because of the lack of calcium, magnesium, and different types of mineral products. So they leak the soil, they leak the wall, and pathogens are transmitted through oral cavity. So deworming is essential to keep the animal healthy, and different types of pathogen that may be engulfed through the water, through the soil, through the feed can be protected by roundworm, tapeworms. These are the different types of worms that are infested. Vaccination schedule. Vaccinations are the important components, and these are the lifelines of the animals that protect from different diseases. Common diseases in the cattle, in the case of cattle and buffalo, are foot and mouth diseases, anthrax, black water, hemorrhagic septicemia, brucellosis. So the type of vaccines and different types of a strategy taken and the duration time when it would be vaccinated. These are the schedule. Different types of factors that kill the animals. So the mortality factors are mostly from the scores, that means intestinal problems. Second is respiratory problem, calving problems during calving, that means giving birth, parturition. The 5% animals are killed in 100 animals. Naval is one of the also important factors. 1.6% animals mortality are there. And trauma, neurologic problems, other problem, and 7 to 0.8% are there from the unknown problems. But mostly the mortality of the young born animals are due to the sports. Health scores, rectal temperature may be taken. Healthy animals have the normal temperature 101.5 degree Fahrenheit. Here is the problems: rectal temperature, cough, nasal discharge, eyes scores, ear scores. By this observation, we can see the standard of the animals and disease condition of the animals, and precautionary measures may be accordingly. These are the associated nasal discharge, normal, normal serous discharge, a small amount of unilateral cloudy, bilateral cloudy, or excessive mucus discharge, copious bilateral mucopurulent discharge. In the case of eye, this is the normal eye. If the animals are and the calf are like that, then this is the normal. Here, the small amount of ocular discharge shows the infection and there is different types of problems are suffering the animals. Moderate amount of bilateral discharge, heavy ocular discharge. These are the symptoms you can observe by seeing the eyes, and the conditioning of the eyes can reflect the disease condition or the normal conditions. Ear scores, these are the normal ear flick or head shape, slight unilateral drop, head flit, bilateral down. So this shows that normal from the disease and the intensity and um, scores of the disease, that how it is healthy or how it is in problem. So this intensity and amplification of the problems of disease shows this chart from different angles and different organs. So rectal temperature, cough, nasal discharge, eye scores, ear scores. By these scores, we can observe and visualize and diagnose that animals are in healthy condition or in the problems. Here, this is the most problematic. You can see the copious bilateral mucopollulant discharge through the nasal cavity or the mouth. So here is indications of the disease conditions. Automation in calf rearing. You know that in the computerized age or era, mostly we are trying to reduce the labor cost at 20 to 30% labor cost are there. So if it is automated, then labor cost may be reduced and animal may be observed that animals are in healthy and how the treatment is needed. So these are the automation of the calf feeders, automation of the housing, automation of the disease, different types of automations are there. These are the different bed materials and different different types of pens to keep the animals healthy and warm. So comfort, convenience, safety, and economy. These are the things required to the animals. Protection of the animal from adverse conditions. How housing? What is the importance of the housing? So in frigid condition, from the cold wave or hot wave, the animals are protected from extreme climatic conditions. Need to provide good health and comfort to the animals, and that ultimately amplify the growth rate and amplify the production rate, either in the form of milk or the meat. Good working conditions for the manpower, provide integration of the farm activity. Housing design in tropical conditions. Tropical, that means in latitude 0 to 30 degree north and 0 to 30 degree south. This is the tropical climatic condition where there is more temperature. In our country, tropical conditions are there, and most of the European countries and the American countries are in temperate climatic condition. So housing in tropical condition, tropical climatic conditions, it will like that. This is the housing. This is the passage, free passages. This is the semi-intensive types of housing design for the animals. We see that free range, semi-intensive, intensive. So this is the semi-intensive. That means outside place are there for the moving and grazing to the animals, and housing are there where the feed is supplied and the animals are kept in the tie conditions, and manger are there and feed are given. Are you listening my voice? Hello? Everyone is listening my voice? There's no problem?
Yes, sir. Continue, sir. It's going well, sir.
Okay, thanks. This is the free range system of the housing design for the animals. Animals are freely moving and grazing. So this is the free range system. In most of the village condition and rural condition in our country, free range systems are there. Animals move here and there, and they enjoy their lives. They graze those products that is beneficial and that is edible and that is delicious for the particular animals. So this is the free range system. Here the open space is provided to the animals, and fencing are there to protect from foxes and different types of animals, furious animals. So status of dairy cattle housing constructed without any suitable shelter design or layout, poor ventilation, overcrowding in sheds, uneven floor surface, lack of waste disposal system. These are the different types of problems we face that have to rectify in the scientific animal housing program and scientific breeding program, and different types of scientific program for enhanced production to the animals. No separate platforms, no slope in the floor. So these have to be rectified. Sloping is essential to flow and clean the dung materials or the urine and different types of products we provide to consumption of the animals for feeding of the animals. So this should be washed out. What would be the site selection? Important, very important. What types of building are there? Which types of land would be selected? You know that for animals housing, there is no need of the fertile soil, because housing should be on the altitude, and high altitude will essential to flow and wash out the different waste products of the animals. So soil type should be sandy and loamy and fertile for the forage growth and for the forage cultivation, because forage is essential for the animals. So for housing, there is no need of the fertile soil, but for forage and fodder, it is need of the loamy and the fertile soils. It should be higher, as you know that if the housing is at higher position, then waste material should go there in the land, and the soil becomes fertile, and it needs more less artificial fertilization. Topography somewhat leveled, orientation, exposure of floor to sunlight, market near for availability of inputs. As you know that near the market there is more cost of the land, so we have to calculate the cost of the land, cost of the housing. So nearby markets, not in vicinity of the market, slight distance from the city, we keep the animals so that in cheap cost land would be available, and supply of the fodder and forage materials and different types of concentrate materials would be easily available. Labor in rural villages and the rural areas will be cheap. In urban areas, it is costly. So a skilled, reliable, and regular supply of labor should be there. Water availability, plenty of water, different types of needs are there for the drinking, for cultivation of the different fodder products, for wallowing, for washing the animals. So water is essential. So good availability of the water. So these are the different raw materials. As in industry, this is the materials really needed for cultivation and rearing of the animals. So soil, elevation, topography, orientation, market, labor, and water. Apart from this, there are different needs, that is availability of the capital, availability of the market for collection of the milk, consumption, that means availability of the population. So there are different types of needs are there for the rearing of the cow. So site selection is very important. This is the floor space requirement as per the BIS standards: young calves covered area and open area. Mostly double the cover open area. If the covered area 1 meter square, then open area 2 meter square. In case of young calves, covered area 2 meter square, heifer 2 meter square, adult cow 3.5 meter squares, and double the open area. Adult buffalo, because of the more size than cow, it needs 4 meter square. Downer calves, as it is pregnant, so there is need of the more space to protect them. So 12 meter square area. In case of bull, there is 10 times of the open space area with respect to cover area. Bull needs more space for the roaming, moving, and for exercise. So open space is more needed in the case of the bull. This is the feeding manger and watering space. There is more slide and time is going there. 45 minutes have left, so I am producing fast this. So young calves, young calves, heifers, adult cow, adult buffalo, down calves, bull. This is the space of the feeding manger and water trough. Dimensions of water manger are like that: width, depth, and height. Height of the manger and height of the trough should be like that, that they should reach from upside. So this should be at the elevations. Number of groups. This is the number of groups that animals can be kept. Bull is individually and down covers are individual kept, but adult buffalo and adult cow in 40 to 50 groups. Heifer 25s, young calves below 5, and young calves 8 weeks below 15. This is the different types of housing, loose housing. Merits of loose housing: cost of construction is cheaper and future expansion is possible. Animals can move, sufficient exercise can taken in long range of the travel, long range of the extension. The animal can be kept clean. Common feeding and watering space are there, so there is need of the more animals in a less space. Stress detection is very easy. At least 10 to 15% more stock can be recommended for a shorter period of time. Demerit of loose housing: not suitable for the temperate regions and heavy rain areas. It requires more floor space. There is competition for food. There is maybe chances of the transmission of disease, infection, infestation of the disease. Separate milking barn is needed for the milking of the animals. So these are the different types of problems. Closed housing system. In closed housing system, animal can be kept with tying of neck in the covered area. This may be the head to head and tail to tail arrangement. Also, there is effect of merits and demerits of the head to head and tail to tail. More protection against harsh condition in the closed housing. We have easy to manage the animals. Individual care can be maintained. Restraining is possible. Injection, and if there is any problems, we can take care. Demerits: more cost of the construction, less air circulation, obnoxious air may be there, particularly in the humid and hot climatic condition. There is chances of suffocation and different types of problems may be circulated in the closed area. And the extension in the future is also difficult because of the lesser space. So this is the head-to-head arrangement in the housing system. Feeding practices more easy, good looking. Demerits: more chances to a spread of the different types of the respiratory diseases and less fair air circulation. This is the tail to tail arrangement. This is here the standing space. This is the gutter. This is the manger and the feeding area and the feeding area from this. This is the pictographic arrangement, that central area, gutter, standing space, feeding trough, and feeding area like that in the bottom. How much area is needed? So this is the pictographic representation in the dimensions of 1.4 meter in the feeding space. So these are the dimensions. And the merits: animals can get more fresh air, more time spent in animal backside and galley, less chance to spread of the disease because mouth is in the opposite positions. But demerits is that to uh, uh, where one chance we can give feed to the animals, here feeding of the animals is laborious in comparative to the head-to-head arrangement. Sunlight is not exposed to drain channel because it remains in the midway. Individual calf or pen boxes. Milking parlor. The milking parlor should be located to the milk storage. 10% of breedable female herd. Number of standings should be there. And the culling of the animals: 25% of the animals should be yearly culled to maintain the livestock and remove the different types of disease problem, different types of age problems, lameness, and many types of problematic animals can be removed. These are the different types of floor of the animals: concrete with rough surface, brick edge, stone slab, wooden slats, and fire. This is the open paddock. Soft bedding materials are there. roof materials. Height of the roof depend upon number of animals. If there is more sunshine and hot wave, then thatch, asbestos cements, and plastic fiber and sprinklers can be provided. This is the bedding material, different types of bedding materials as per availability in the different regions of our country and the different parts of the world are kept there. Here is the soil, sandy bedding materials. Here is the straw materials, sawdust, and in many parts, cow mats and mattresses are there to give the animal comfort and washing the different dirt materials. This is the manure disposal pit. Manure pit should be located as far as possible from farm animals because it is the reservoir and site of the different types of house fly and different types of disease transmitting vectors. So the space is from the farm should be in the distant place and deeply ingrained. High milking animals, what would be the criteria? You know that the animals should be of shining appearance. So if we are giving attention to the scientific breeding program, so which types of animal have to purchase from the market? What would be the significance criteria? So the animals should be in the conical position, alert position, shining appearance, and the milk making machine udder should be highly developed and more veins veins prominent veins should be there. Teeth should be of elongated and there is no leakage in the teeth. So these are the other capacious, that means conical arrangement from front to rear. There should be and loosely skin, rump visualized, no body built up. So these are the morphological features of the high yielding animals. As I have highlighted that which types of what is the criteria: capacious mouth, capacious belly, capacious ribs are broader, eyes broader and shiny. These are the different breeds associated, and we have imported in our country mainly Holstein Friesian, Jersey, and Brown Swiss. These three animals are brought from Western countries. This is the Jersey Island in bottom of the England or United Kingdom, upward to the France and Spain. So here Jersey very important and highly suitable to our climatic condition in the tropical areas, although it is found in the and originated in the temperate regions or cold climatic conditions, but it is suitable in our country. This is the brown Swiss. Turnessee, these other animals are sad, making short hot. In our country, this is Gir. This is the different types of breeds we can cultivate for more profit earning and more yield of the milk in our country. Bhadwari, one of the most important animals from the milk butter point of view or the fat point of view. In overall buffaloes in the world, the fat content in the milk of Bhadwari is of outstanding content of 10 to 13%, and it is very suitable in tropical climatic condition, hot humid climatic condition, and arid climatic condition because of the more capability of the heat tolerance. This is Jafrabadi, found in Gujarat regions. This is the milking process. Conclusion: calf is the future of the herd. So pre-weaning nutrition can avoid profound impact on the development of calf that enhances fast lactation and lifetime productivity. A holistic approach to calf nutrition, health, and housing is required to achieve lifetime performance from the dairy development for the reflection dairy farm. And rearing practices from the prepartum management, navel dipping, timely colostrum feeding, scientific milking feeding, introducing calf starter in early life, reducing weaning state. These are the different strategies through which we can keep the animals healthy and reduce the mortality in the calf, and ultimately it would be feasible for growth of the and development of the more healthy cow or any more healthy livestock for healthy production and profitable earning. Thank you. If any question, you can ask.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nirala. Indeed, it's a very elaborative, simple, and good pictorial representation of all the animal management practices. So I think the participant definitely get a good review of all these. And if you have any question, you can write in the chat box or you can unmute and ask your question directly. I think they are unable to mute us. Technical team, please unmute. So no questions?
Uh, Anyone interested to ask the questions?
नवल किशोर जी एंड राजेश नेहरा, आप अभी जब तक आप देखो अगर अनम्यूट नहीं कर पा रहे तो आप लिख दो, अभी टेक्निकल टीम अलाउ करेगी एसेस.
हेलो
यस मैम, इनको अलाउ कीजिए.
मैम, किनको अलाउ करना है? और
दे कैन अनम्यूट.
यस मैम.
ओके ओके ओके. सो
I have stopped presenting.
हाँ हाँ, नवल किशोर सर कुछ पूछना है आपको?
यस मैम.
हाँ पूछिए, आपका हेल्पिंग पूछिए क्वेश्चन.
मेरा एक क्वेश्चन ये है कि which type of flooring material is suitable for mid hills of Uttarakhand? Flooring material I am asking.
In hilly areas.
Yes sir.
As you know that in hilly areas there is more harsh temperature, cold climatic condition are there.
Yes,
So bedding materials should be like that. There is less transmission of the heat and less problems to the cold wave, that the cold wave. So the bedding materials should be like that the animals should find comfort and feel comfort. So like wooden materials may be given, or the bed materials like straw, and that means they provide slight heat to the animals and keep the animals warm. So these materials may be provided in the hilly areas.
Sir, my second question is that can we use cow mate throughout the year as a bedding material?
Yeah. How? Why not? In our farm in the Bihar Veterinary College, Patna, there is use of the mattresses. So it keeps the animals comfortable and easy to clean the bedding materials, and the materials are clean. The animals remains in a cool, comfortable way. So they may be used.
Sir, my third question is there any difference in the milk production if we are using the cow mate instead of other bedding material like wheat straw, paddy straw and other things? Is there any difference in the milk production?
Milk
Yes, sir.
there are different factors for the milk production, but mostly the milk production is on the basis of the breed or the nutrition availability. There may be some sorts of problems as you are giving bedding materials that have rich growth of bacteria, rich growth of pathogens. So they ultimately infect the animals. And if there is not comfortable environmental conditions, that means bedding materials also one of the part of the environment. So the animal may found discomfort. So discomfort reduce the productivity or reproductivity, different things and entities associated with the animals, and the production potential increases if there is comfortable environment. as we provide the comfortable environment, either through feed, either through bedding materials, or any environmental conditions in the hot wave. Presently in the hot wave, milk production declines because there is discomfort to the animals. So if the comfort, either through the feeding, either through the environmental condition, as we provide sprinkling water so that cool environment are there, patching of the roofs are there. So these ultimately provide comfort. So if we through bedding materials we are providing comfort, the animals productivity will certainly increase.
So my next question is, can the is there breeding policy state to state vary? Breeding policy of animals.
Yeah, as you know that our main objective
because in Uttarakhand,
varies and
because in Uttarakhand there is a criteria for 1,000 meters, 1,200 meters, 1,500 meters, and 2,000 meters above.
yeah.
So is it
As
apply
you know
in only Uttarakhand, or as a or for other states there is a different breeding policy for animals?
Yeah. As you know that from the environmental point of view, the yak and mithun are suitable to the high altitude environmental condition because they can thrive in cold climatic condition, cold waves, and have the short legs so that the gravitational balance would be there. More thick skin and growth of the luxurious hairs. So these provide the comfortable environmental condition to those animals found in the high altitude area. Mainly we focus because as we go upward in high altitude area, from 165 meter above, 1 degree centigrade temperature declines. That means in 1 kilometer, 6 to 7 degree temperature declines. So most prominent cause in the high altitude is the decline of the temperature. That means if we go 2,000 meter, that means 2 kilometer upward, 14 to 15 degree centigrade temperatures decline. So most important limiting factors is the temperature, and the secondary is the cold waves, high velocity of the wind, less availability of the nutritional grasses and the nutritional product of the concentrate. So from this point of view, those animals that are suitable and can thrive in less nutritional availability and have low exposure of the cold wave, so these animals are suitable in these grounds or the hilly area. So more capacious animals, large animals, or more voluminous animals are not suitable to these climatic conditions. So short statured animals, less capacious, these animals have given opportunity to cultivate in high altitude area.
So we go for selective breeding policy.
Yeah. So if we are cultivating these animals, selective breeding program to these type of animals will be given opportunity.
It means breeding policy of animal changes from state to state.
State to state, region to region, in
altitude.
As in our country, most of the parts are of the tropical climatic condition, hot, humid climatic condition. So Jersey is given preference in comparison to the Holstein Friesian. But most of the peoples are greedy to produce more and more milk. So different types of complications and problems we are observing in the Holstein crossbreeds. So ultimately, we have to give focus that those animals and that type of animals that is highly suitable and can thrive in hot, humid climatic condition. These animals have given chances, and breeding policies should be incorporated to those animals so that if it is yielding less milk, but it is comfortable in that particular environmental conditions and the particular soil or regions, either in the high altitude area or the low altitude region area. So breeding policies should be accepted and incorporated in our plan like that.
Sir, my last question is, what is the future of male calf in your area? Because in Uttarakhand, it's very pathetic situation is there.
Not in Uttarakhand, overall our country, not in all country, but most of the parts of the world. Because male calves is not producing milk, and we are using and cultivating the animals for the milk. But in Western countries where beef is the main edible parts of the animal products, so where there is eating of the and consumption of the meat, so there is more chances of the male, because male can yield more beef, more meat. In our country, this is very fragile situations, and we are targeting, deliberately killing the animals. So very problematic situations. So there is need of the protection and conservation of the male calves in our country. And as you know that in our country, more than 70% total food baskets are cultivated to the vegetable products, and only 30 to 25% are taken from the animal products, and mostly the animal products are in the form of the milk and milk products. So meat products and different products of the animals have given popularity in southern states, coastal states. It has more consumption of the non-vegetable products. So if we give an opportunity to the meat basket in those animals, or we sell the animals, we have given opportunity, or export to the other animals, we make the linkage to these animals where male calves are reared. They have given need of the broader spectrum male calves protection policies, and this is serious concern in our country, and presently it is amplified in different parts of our states. So there is need of the broader spectrum for that.
Also, sir, actually, the current policy of sex semen, that technology.
Sex
That's
sorted
why
semen
we-
is there, ma'am.
Yes,
Sex
so
sorted semen is
now
there, but even the
but
condition
still,
is very worse.
it's not economical. That's why indigenous technology is also in complementary to sex semen. That's why this is going means to counteract with these situations. No? So government is trying for this.
Okay, this is also important.
Any other question? Any other question, Rajesh Nehra ji?
Okay,
Dr.
thank you,
Yashwant
sir.
sir, question.
Good morning, everybody. Very nice presentation, Dr. Ravikant. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
This is not a question, just I want to discuss what is the plan regarding salvaging of male buffalo calf for meat purpose, or any you should can suggest any specific feeding plan to increase their growth rate, particularly during young age, to exploit for their meat potential.
Ultimately, we have to make the market for the product. Most of the peoples here are Hindus. 82% populations are Hindus.
Market, international market is already available, no?
Yeah, in our country, and only southern states of the Hindu populations consume them. So there is need of the export of these items to the overseas. So negotiation and adjustment, because we are in the shortage of the trade deficit. As you know that India exported
Any specific feeding plan for male buffalo calf to boost their growth potential?
That's why it's need of the presently there is no such plans. It needs to the incorporated in our policies to repatriation of the money and amplification of the dollar. So there many countries are trying to import the bull calves. So negotiation at the foreign uh, policies is need to be incorporated. Still there is no any policies, and it needs to be incorporated, and the plan is to make to exchange and export the bull calves to the other countries.
Okay, thank you.
Nehra ji, आप पूछना चाह रहे हो?
Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, I want to congratulate you. It is a very winning. What is the suitable time
Sir.
regarding winning for development of the proper development of the rumen?
Yeah, winning as usually we follow 2 months or 2.5 months, but more than 1.5 months, that means 6 weeks, we can give opportunity of the winning, so that the proper rumen development and tweaks and green fodder should be given in a phase wise with a little amount. So there will be growth of the rumen in their way.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
So any other questions? So I think It's nice discussion. We will end up this session here. And on behalf of the organizing team, I would like to thank Dr. Nirala for a good presentation and satisfying the queries of the participants as well. And thank you to all the participants for joining this session. And we will meet with training evaluations method in afternoon session by Dr. Keshav from Delhi headquarter. So the session is preponed to 2 p.m. Means keep in mind it is not from 2:30, it is from 2 to 3 p.m. Okay, so thank you to all of you, and we will meet at 2 o'clock. Thank you, Dr. Nirala.